For 20 years, my life as a clinical dietitian was measured in milligrams and macronutrients. My objective was extending lifespans through strict biological metrics. Modern clinical science is incredibly effective at this job. We have successfully mastered the mechanics of keeping the human body alive longer than at any previous point in history. That clinical success created a massive blind spot. Medical professionals rarely discuss what happens to a family when a patient survives the immediate acute crisis, only to transition into a permanent state of chronic disability. This chart illustrates that drop-off. Standard medical coverage plummets right after the acute phase ends, exposing a massive void, the long-term care gap. People widely assume that general health insurance or government subsidies will act as a safety net for these chronic conditions, but they do not. Without coverage in this specific gap, families are forced into rapid asset liquidation. You are looking at a lifetime of accumulated wealth being drained in real time, strictly to maintain a baseline level of daily care. Extending biological life without securing a structural financial defense transforms a medical victory into a generational financial catastrophe. I know exactly what that catastrophe looks like because I watched it unfold in my family. Our battle with chronic illness lasted for 11 grueling years. This cumulative chart maps the exact financial toll of those 11 years. Each bar represents over $10,000 required every single month. At this scale, it's a mathematical impossibility. A standard savings benchmark is completely crushed by compounding care costs. My family survived that math problem by relying on long-term care insurance. LTC is a pre-planned structural defense designed specifically to absorb this type of protracted shock. The policy functioned as an impenetrable barrier. It isolated our home and our remaining assets from the relentless month-after-month invoices generated by the care facilities. Biological endurance will carry a patient through a decade-long illness, but a mathematical shield ensures the family left behind isn't destroyed in the process. I saw this exact dynamic play out with a client, a prominent community leader who was suddenly paralyzed by a brain hemorrhage, thrusting his family into the long-term care gap. His wife was immediately confronted by a dual threat. She was navigating severe emotional trauma of her husband's condition while absorbing the exhausting, round-the-clock physical labor of becoming an amateur caretaker. Because they had activated an LTC policy years prior, we intercepted that threat. The policy stepped in and fully covered 11 years of premium facility care. The direct financial consequence was immediate. It prevented the forced liquidation of their family home and kept their physical assets entirely intact. The emotional consequence was even more significant. Freed from the grueling physical labor of caretaking, she was able to remain a gentle, supportive partner rather than an exhausted nurse. LTC policies provide the specific financial infrastructure to protect familial roles and human dignity. They ensure the bond between partners remains the priority, even as medical needs escalate. Realizing this drove me to leave a 20-year clinical career. I needed to bridge the gaping hole between medical treatment and long-term financial planning. I stopped writing purely biological nutritional prescriptions and began advocating for a comprehensive dignity prescription. It is easy to rely on the psychological defense mechanism of loss aversion. We naturally assume we will somehow bypass the statistical reality of aging and severe illness. The solution is to build a dignity fund, a deliberate, structured financial fortress designed specifically to protect you during the final stages of life. This fund functions as a guarantee of autonomy. It ensures that an individual's physical decline never translates into a suffocating financial burden placed upon their children. True healthcare requires securing the financial freedom to choose exactly how we age. It ensures we face our final years with sovereignty, dictating our own terms rather than succumbing to fear.